ask yourself, who has missed what
Wow.
it is that you were meant to give them?
Yep.
How could you have changed? How many lives have you not changed because you were worried about something that doesn't even matter?
That's powerful.
So,
So your indecisions
mm,
not only affect your future, but the future of other people.
absolutely.
That's deep. Hey, welcome back, guys. Today, I brought in a very special guest to talk about how you guys can step into more confidence as an online entrepreneur, how you guys can network better. And we're just going to talk about business etiquette and a lot of cool little things that you don't hear many people talking about. Today, I'm bringing in Naretha Hopson. She is the GOAT. She's the best when it comes to becoming a polished individual, when it comes to really just thriving in your confidence as an entrepreneur. And I brought her on because this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. Even myself, I'm not afraid to say that I've found myself stepping into rooms where I don't even feel qualified to be there. So I brought on Naretha Hopson to talk about the power of stepping into your confidence and living life as an entrepreneur that is, has some grace, but also is full of confidence and boldness to go out there and crush it. So Naretha, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. How are you?
I am very well. How are you, Michael?
Man, I'm good. Life is always a little crazy, but it's a good crazy, productive. So I'm so excited to jump in and talk about this because I was sitting here, I've known Naretha for about a year, 2 years now, and I'm just like, what you teach is so niche, right? You teach dining etiquette, you teach business etiquette, you teach mindset, networking. There's so many things you know, and I'm like, nobody teaches this stuff. Like, I was actually trying to find people that taught what you do, and I'm like, there's not many people. And so my hope is people listening to this and watching this will step out of this conversation feeling like they're more equipped, mainly in their inner self, right? They're equipped to go out there and not just network, because that stuff's cool, right? But to become the entrepreneur and the person that they were called to be. So
Yeah.
open us up. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Naretha. Let the people know exactly who you are, what you do.
I'm Naretha Hopson. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation to be here. I
Glad to have
always
you.
love chatting with this guy. We always have good conversations. I'm Naretha Hopson. I am your polish coach. And so I help entrepreneurs, professionals, and even some students to live an authentic life, create an authentic life that you love, and do that with confidence, grace, and joy.
Love it. That's so cool to hear. And so share, like, how did you stumble into this space? Just because I want to give people some context, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure I don't, maybe you did. Maybe you came out of school just saying, you know what, this is the space I love. How did you discover that this was your calling and this was your purpose?
It actually started for me in school, if you
Okay.
high school. So, my sister and I graduated from a public high school. My brothers went to the elite private schools in town, and so I noticed that there was a big difference between our exposure and opportunity in our daily experiences, right? And so then I moved forward and I became the first Black female salesperson at Plaza Motors at the time. And so that is, or was, like a big conglomerate of luxury automotive dealers. And it was, kind of a big deal
Yeah.
where I lived. And so there was a certain skill set that I needed to learn to be successful in that environment. And then my family is entrepreneurial. I spent a lot of my um, school age working in the family business, whereas some of my friends were in an elite program where they taught children from public schools how to get in the corporate game, right? And so I learned by listening to them some of the things that they learned about interviewing and life skills and that. And I took that forward and I realized that there were so many other students like me that did not have a program like that. Even though I came from a fine family and the whole thing, but everybody's just regular folks.
Right.
And there was certain skill set I needed in order to be successful in any environment, so that I didn't feel uncomfortable when I walked into certain rooms, so that I didn't feel unworthy when I walked into certain rooms. And so I started to develop that for myself, but realized that there were so many others that may need this information too, may need that handheld to feel comfortable in those spaces. And so that's really how it all began.
Dope. I like that. That's so cool. So it was starting out at a young age. That's so
Yeah.
neat. So you kind of I just want to say congratulations, just the compliments you've been able to achieve, the accolades you've been able to kind of acquire is really cool to hear and to see. So kudos to you. Thanks for being here. I think we have a great guest on our hands. So everybody make sure you follow her and see the description below on how you can tap in with what she's doing. But let's dive in. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs listening to this and they're like, I struggle, right? I struggle with stepping into a confidence, right? Especially in a time when the recession's coming. Like I should say we're in a recession, right? It's like times, it's like everything's doom and gloom. The news is doom and gloom, Facebook ads, everything. Everybody's trying to use negativity to feed their business. And there's people that are like, don't have confidence right now. How do entrepreneurs start living life with more confidence? Like, where would you start for somebody that's struggling with that right now?
So I will, first of all, I start by saying that polish, which is kind of what I teach, is not perfect. And a lot of times we want to feel as if you're not perfect, then you're not going to be successful or you're less than in some way. And so I want to just start with that. This whole game called life is not about perfection. And in that, it ebbs and flows. And so walking in your purpose, in purpose, on purpose, that is the secret sauce. That is what you have. That's the one thing that you have, that it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. You have that one thing to offer, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
multiple, but you have that thing to offer that that makes the difference. And so if you walk into a room knowing that your secret sauce, you've got the secret. And when you walk like, oh, I got the secret, you'll see. You may not know now, but you'll see. That's really helpful in understanding your value and your worth, and just the going for it. Because I'll be transparent. I deal with the same thing. That's why I'm here. I deal with it every day. I'm even nervous now, right? So it's not about always feeling 100% confident, but it's still about moving forward and knowing that you take the steps, the rest will unfold. And I believe in a higher power, and so I believe in favor. I believe that things will happen if I do my part.
Love it. Love it. And that's actually something on a previous podcast we were talking a little bit about taking imperfect action and just kind of putting one foot in front of the other, right? And so cool to hear. And that's practical advice anybody can implement, right? So I want to take it a step deeper, right? And so great advice. I think anybody can implement that. Like I said, let's talk a little bit about whenever it comes to maybe this isn't a valid excuse. There's some people listening to this and they're like, Naretha, like, but I'm just a all out introvert, right? And so there's some entrepreneurs out there and they're like, everybody says you need to put yourself out there on social, right? You need to have reels. You need to be like, but that's just not me, right? How do you navigate being an online entrepreneur as an introvert? Is it something that is easier? Like, do we make it more complicated on ourselves? Like, I'm right in the middle. So I'm like, I can be extroverted when I want, right? I'm on a podcast. Well, I like spending time by myself, right? And I love that time of solitude. And So like, what advice would you get for the people that are just, maybe it's not that they're not confident, it's just maybe their personality type's a little different, and then maybe even have a little bit of fear intertwined with their personality type.
Mm-hmm. Well, if that, to the introverts, to the fellow introverts in the room, hello, I'm with you. I'm one of you. Actually, when I was a little, they people used to think something was, I may have some sort of special needs because I was so quiet, right? And I am that person that can sit in the corner and be quiet by myself, and I'm just fine. Now, that's surprising to some people who know me in my community, outside in, in the world, because I'm coined as a social butterfly. And I decided at some point that I'd have to act as if.
And so how did you, is that just a switch you flipped on? Like,
It
cause you
is
just
now.
told us like,
It's a flip. It's a switch that I flip. But it started by finding people who do things in a way that you admire. Somebody who's amazing at navigating crowds, who's amazing at networking, who's amazing at whatever it is that you are challenged with doing. Study that person. And then when you walk into a space, whether it's online or in person, literally flip that switch and turn on, like, channel that person, to a certain extent. But at the same time, I also say it's really about authenticity as well, right? So you bring your secret sauce, you bring your personality to the space, but you bring that confidence, you borrow the confidence from somebody else who does it well, and that's really helpful. So I would definitely say, if you're challenged with being online and getting past your stinking thinking, I am literally going through that myself.
so you're not alone, right? If you're watching this, you're not alone.
Yeah. There is a number of opportunities that I have, in that area, but I am pushing forward. And one of the things that I've found is that I've watched so many other people do it imperfectly. And I actually show up because I'm in the etiquette space, because I am the polish coach. Every once in a while, I will show up with things that are not necessarily perfect, just to show that it's okay. It's okay not to have every hair in place. It's okay to have something, a little bit out of place. Guess what? The world keeps spinning, because what it is that I have to share with the world is much more valuable than what's going on out there. So, yeah, just keep pushing. Just go anyway. Anyhow, keep pushing.
I love that. And there's a few points there I love. One, I want to hit on the most recent thing you said, right? Is like, you have something there that other people need. And I talk about that a lot to coaches, course creators and stuff that really come to me, and they're struggling because maybe they have a smaller audience, right? It's like, if you can at least help one person, doesn't make it all worth it, right? And so I love that you were hitting on that, because you have the secret sauce, as you say, right? The secret sauce, and other people need that. So push past the discomfort, put yourself out there, because if you really are a leader, like a lot of people call themselves, right, then you'll do it anyway, and you'll get out there just to serve at least that one. So I love that. There's similarities there to what I teach as well all the time. And something else I want to hit on, you were talking about maybe not stealing, but leaning towards and grasping onto other people's confidence, other people's demeanor, right? And maybe modeling other people. And I don't know what you call it. Is that like an alter ego? I don't know. What's that called? Like,
and you can give him or her, them a name.
And there's actually there's a book out there, I think, about that, like that talks about having that. And that's so cool. That's something actually I've been able to do whenever it comes to speaking on big stages. I love Brendan Burchard. I think that's how you say his name. I can never say his name right, but he's so alive on stage. He's so vibrant in his storytelling. He's funny, and like whenever I look at him, him and Ed Milet, they're totally different people, but they're great at what they
Mhm.
do. And I tap into, whenever I'm speaking on stage, I love tapping into who they are and what they've been able to set as an example. So this is cool. I would, little homework here, side note for anybody listening. Who do you feel like does well what you want to do, right? If it comes to putting out content on social media, who do you really enjoy watching? Whose content do you feel like is excellent? Maybe tap into what they're doing, like Naretha was saying. Maybe it's writing style. You can do the same thing there. Maybe it's speaking style. But find ways to emulate and really latch onto what they're doing and use their energy to help boost your confidence. So I wanted to hammer on that again because I love that. That's so cool. It's been a reoccurring theme in the past few months for me. So just cool to see. So let's talk a little bit about how this all translates over into business, right? So personalities, confidence, whenever you step into this world and become more polished, right, as you call it, how does that affect your business?
In every way, positively in every way. I would want to go back just a little bit
Let's do it.
to touch on the fact that a lot of times we're nervous because we're focused on ourselves. We're nervous about what other people think, how, what we look like and all of those things. But at the end of the day, our gift, what we are here to share, is not about us. It's about sharing that gift with the world. It's about sharing that gift with that one person who needs to hear from you. And so when you realize that it's not about you, I had to realize it's not about me. And as a matter of fact, because I was making it about me, I waited 4 years to start my business.
Wow.
I've been speaking on stages and from classrooms to stages with thousands of people for 14 years, but it took 4 years for me to start because I was so nervous and so worried about what other people thought
That's
and
crazy.
about that
Like, just
fear
think, if so,
of failure.
you've been doing this for 14 years.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but it
Yes.
would have been 18 if you would have started
It would
sooner.
have been 18. It would have been 14 much more robust years
Let
had I gotten past me.
So like
And
let's pause there for a second. I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but this is so cool. So I want the people watching and listening to this I want them to do something. I'm big on like homework, action steps.
yes.
What is something you've been putting off from doing? And how long have you been putting it off? I want you to think, because Naretha just shared she put off starting her business that she wanted to start for 4 years. If she would have started sooner, she would be 4 years ahead. She would have been, she's 14 years in. She's a veteran at what she does. She's a professional, but she would have been a professional way earlier, right? She would have had a lot more accolades. She would have had a lot more experience. She would have saved 4 years of her life, probably in mistakes and headaches, right? Trying to figure this all out. So what are you putting off? And how long have you been putting it off? For some of you all, it's been maybe just 6 months. Maybe it's been a year. For others, it's been 5 to 10 years. What are you doing? Wake up out of your slumber. Get out there. Start taking action. If you know you need to do it, do it. So anyways, I just want to, sorry to interrupt your train of thought there. Let's keep going.
It's right along with my train of thought. In addition to that, ask yourself, who has missed what it is that you were meant to give them?
Yep.
How could you have changed? How many lives have you not changed because you were worried about something that doesn't even matter?
That's powerful. So your indecisions not only affect your future, but the future of other people.
Absolutely.
That's deep.
Absolutely. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about who we are here to serve. And yes. So yes, I did lose my train of thought.
So we were talking, sorry, I'll bring us on track here. So we were talking about how all this translates into business. And so you were saying go back, right? And one of the reasons why we struggle with this is because we're looking at ourselves, right? And you started talking. So how does this all translate? Like, how does this affect our business, right? So whenever you start implementing this, like, have you seen businesses start to thrive more? Do you see like business becomes easier? What does that look like?
It does become easier because you're focused on keeping the main thing the main thing. So you're able to, you're willing to take the chances. You're willing to get out and touch the people who need to be touched. And as a just a natural progression that affects the bottom line. It's about being polished and paid. So, although I don't, there are a lot of online gurus that guarantee $5 million if you do it this way and all that. I don't have a get rich quick scheme for you, but I do have a way to not only leverage the greatness in who you are, but also help your greatness to empower those who you are called to serve. And as a matter of fact, you automatically get paid from that. And so that you enlarge your territory and your bank account by just stepping into polish. And so I created a polish blueprint that kind of talks about and helps you to navigate the attributes of that polished professional, of that polished entrepreneur, of that person who is living the polished lifestyle, and creating the life that they love and that they enjoy while doing that good work.
So good. This is all fun stuff. I hope you guys are finding value in this. This is going to be a fun rest of the show. I'm just looking at the clock. I'm like, we're already 20 minutes in. It feels like 5 minutes. So let's keep going. So something else you teach is more of like business etiquette, right? You help people step into new confidence, walk into those rooms, which maybe I'm going to pause. I was going to go into one thing, but you help people walk into rooms with more confidence and know how to navigate that room. There's so many different things you teach. So I want to touch on a few things. One, I want you to help me, okay? So I want you to help me on a few things. Then I want to go into business etiquette, right? And go into some tips for people who are maybe out there networking all the time. Maybe they're out there trying to land big contracts or big partnerships. So that's going to be a fun conversation, but let's go. So we know this all helps your business, right? The more you can step into that confidence, the more you can push yourself away and get the thinking of we versus me. That's going to help. But there's still people out there, and I'm going to say even myself, right? This is where I said I need some help. Sometimes I'm in big rooms, people that are making 8 figures, 9 figures in their business. That's like 10 to 100 million plus.
Yes.
And there's times I'm like, I've never even looked at 100 million. I've never even looked at 15 million, 20 million. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of times, when you step into those rooms, it's like, why am I even here? Like, am I qualified to be here? And then, a lot of times it's not necessarily the confidence, it's just doubt, right? And so how do you, and the answer may be the same that you did earlier, because that answer was strong, but are there any other tips, like specifically for when you're networking with high caliber entrepreneurs, right? When you're collaborating and networking with people who are, to like, from the world standpoint, higher in status, how do you step into those rooms feeling like you can hang with the big dogs?
Well, we met adjacent to one of those rooms, right? So I've also been in some of those rooms. I've also been, I've navigated in some ways, and it can be intimidating when you walk in and it's like, whoa, okay, this is a new level.
Right.
But one of the things that you find is that, one, we have to remember that everybody in this room is human, and we all started pretty much from the same place, right? And there's a level of respect for you just by being in the room. Just start right there. You're in the room. Because you're in the room, no matter how you got there, you deserve to be there. There are millions of people that don't even know this room exists, right? But you're here, you're in the room. And what I've also found is that you attract your energy, that you bring to the room is the result of how people navigate and connect with you. So if you walk in feeling as if, wow, this is amazing, I'm here to learn and grow and also collaborate because I have this to offer, that's a very different energy. And then people start coming to you and they are interested in what you want that in how they can connect with you, right? Versus walking in and feeling like, oh boy, I am in over my head. I hope they don't ask me this.
Right.
I am not at that 8-figure mark yet. All of the things, you know, you never know what their journey has been. You never know if you have the key to their next level. And you won't know that until you connect. You won't know that until you collaborate. Everyone's not going to be wonderful and open and all of the things. That's, you know, that's just life.
Right.
But when you walk in and you know that you deserve to be there just by proxy of the fact that you are there, and the rest, you just, again, act as if, right? Um, do your research, and
Oh, I
that's
like
in,
that one.
ahead of time. Know who's in the room, know what their interests are. And it's not about the numbers. A lot of times in those rooms, that's the big topic of conversation. But when you're connecting with a person on that human level, you both might like dogs. And you can connect on that, right? You both have a kid that plays soccer. And when you connect with a person from a human perspective, all the other stuff that's extra. And then you get invited to the next room. You would get invited to the other thing because they like you as a person. That's really how you distinguish yourself, because you might be, feeling a certain way because you're not at 10 figures yet. And a lot of the other people may feel that way too, and they just want to connect with somebody. They are just tired of everybody. Oh, you're so amazing. Can I take a selfie with you? Oh,
Right.
can I pick your brain? But folks are tired of that. They want to connect with people. And so just be human.
I love that. I love that. I think I'm going to keep this podcast in my ears. Like next month, I'll actually be at an event. I'm going to put it in and I'm just going to replay over and over again Naretha saying, there's a million people in the world, but none of them know about this room but you. Or like, however you said that. I'm just going to keep that playing in there. Like, Naretha's my new motivational speaker, right? I'm just going to keep her on. Like, we're going to turn it into a mixtape and they're going to put some music behind it. So,
I love it.
so yeah, let's do it. So this is so cool. So I hope everybody's finding value in this. I know I am. So let's transition. So that was my personal that was my personal problem and story there to figure out. So I think that's cool. You talking about being relational with people. I think we forget about that. We forget that people put on the pants the same way we do. They started out in the business the same way we did, more than likely. They all have families, right? And so I think that's just a good reminder for everybody to step into new confidence, knowing that nobody is greater than the other when we actually look at it from a top view, right? Now the world may say Naretha's has more money, so more powerful than Michael, right? But on a sense, like you said, we're all human. So I think that's when you look at it from that perspective, it really makes it easier to step into those rooms with new confidence and with new belief in yourself, right? Not just confidence that you deserve to be there, but new belief that what you do can actually change the world and change the lives of the people in those rooms. So thank you for those tips. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about business etiquette. So you get in these rooms, you're networking. Like, what are some of the things, like maybe there's certain things, maybe there's not. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. So let's talk about business etiquette. This is something that nobody really talks about. What do you define as business etiquette? And let's talk about it from a perspective of like networking and being in these rooms. Like, what are some like no-nos? What are some things that maybe you would recommend people do to maximize the experience and come off maybe more professional? So let's start out with what is it? What is the definition from your standpoint? Yeah. And then let's talk about how we can like embody that. Is that cool if we go into that conversation?
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Business etiquette etiquette in general is the art of making others feel comfortable.
Okay. I never heard it said like that.
Yeah. So when we focus on making others feel comfortable and seen, we actually in turn feel more comfortable ourselves, because again, we're not focusing on us, we're focusing on making sure the other's comfortable. And business etiquette is very similar, but making sure that we're doing this in a mutually beneficial in a mutually beneficial way. And one of the ways that there are a lot of unspoken rules in business. There are a lot of unspoken rules, let's just say in business dining, even. Dining etiquette is a huge opportunity for connecting. And it is also where deals are won and lost. And a lot of people are like, we're just going to eat. It's not a big deal, whatever. Actually, for in the corporate space, people take their applicants for interviews, usually the second or third round, because they're looking to see how they navigate that space. And so I'll give a couple unspoken rules of business dining etiquette. Say, for instance, you're served a meal and you have been to this restaurant before, you've been to this hotel before, you know that the potatoes are are bland and they're going to need salt and pepper. You know that, right? So the first thing you do is you're served, you say thank you or whatever, and then you get the salt and the pepper. You go to town with the salt and pepper. Well, I have had hiring managers and CEOs look me in the eye and say, Naretha, I will not hire someone or do business with someone that seasons their food before they taste.
Really?
Really, multiple times. And it's like, what? Really? And here's the reason why. It said that you are rigid in thought, you take action before you get the facts,
Hmm.
and it's an insult to the chef.
Wow.
It says that you have zero confidence this person can prepare this meal to your liking. And so something as simple as that can make the difference. The way that you dine with your bread. A lot of times people take the roll or whatever, they cut it and then slather it with the butter and take a bite. I used to do that.
You're calling
And
me out over here. Quit it.
and actually, that is one of the telltale signs that this person has not had, is not aware of the rules of the table. And actually, what should be done is your bread should be broken in a bite-sized piece, one piece of bread. You butter that piece if you choose to butter the bread, and then you eat that piece individually. Unfortunately, you can end up embarrassing the person who invited you into the space. They say, when in Rome, do as the Romans. That doesn't necessarily mean don't be authentic, but it does mean respect the space, know the rules of the game. Albert Einstein says you have to learn the rules of the game and play better than anyone else. And so I just teach you those rules of the game for you to keep it in your back pocket, because I am clearly not your grandma's etiquette coach. So I give you that information and you do with it what you will. I'm not the etiquette police. I'm not here to judge you, but I am here just to add that little extra information that can make the difference in your life and in your experiences, and help you to get to where you help you to get to where you're going.
Listen, you're gonna have me eating and operating different in restaurants now. Listen, she's shaking my world. This is so cool. But listen, whenever it comes to business, whenever it comes to these key factors, there are certain things that you don't really think about. But
Hmm.
this is why I love Naretha and what she teaches, is because there's intentionality behind it.
Yeah,
It's not just do this because it's going to make you look good. Don't just do that because that's what you're supposed to do, but do this because there's an end result attached to it.
yeah. Hmm.
And so
Absolutely.
that's why I love this. And so Naretha, what I want to do is, we were talking, I know you have an event coming up where people can learn about this even deeper. Like, you thought that was good. Imagine learning this over 5 days. right? And so tell people a little bit about, I think the Polished Life Challenge. Tell them a little bit about like what the goal is there. Tell everybody like kind of what that looks like. And then after that, how people can connect with you further.
Sure. I'm excited about the Polished Life Challenge. I have an amazing team. Thanks, Michael and team,
Yeah.
for helping to make this happen. And we are really going to start your polished transition in these 5 days. And not only transition, we are going to start your polished transformation in these next 5 days, where you will be prepared. It will be intentional. You will also get that license to really evaluate your goals and your mindset, and get you to the point that you are ready to create the life that you truly love. And living the polished life is not necessarily about, being on yachts and doing all the things. Yes, we do that. We do that. However, it's the life that you love. It's the life that you enjoy. Because when you are living in your fullness, then you are able to take your gift on purpose and really be polished and paid. And so that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to be good people, good humans, and be polished and paid with grace and sophistication, and yes. So that's what we're going to do over the next 5 days.
Love it. So listen, guys, you guys can, I put the link down in the description. Check it out. It's going to be so fun you're just going to spend 5 days with Naretha. This is going to be super dope for you to be able to step in and learn from somebody who's been doing this. She said for 14 years, should have been 18, but 14 years she's been doing this, and she's changing people. She's literally worked with a lot of high level executives. She's worked with celebrities. She's worked with international students. Like, she's worked with a very vast amount of people. And so her knowledge, because of that, is vast, right? And so I'm so excited. It's a free event. Check it out down in the description. But Naretha, where can people find out about you and what you do? Where can they, like, if they have questions, want to, maybe even consume more of your content, where can they go to?
Sure. One of the first places is on Instagram at Ever-Appropriate. And I am at Ever-Appropriate really everywhere but LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, I'm Naretha Hopson. And I would love to connect with you. I would love to coach with you and really get you to where you want to go. That's my purpose, and that's my joy. It is my life's joy to help you move through your polished life transformation.
All right. Well, make sure you all connect with her. Great resource to have. I know a lot of you are looking for mentors. A lot of you are looking for coaches and people just to model, right? Naretha is a great person to attach onto and just really model, right? And so definitely connect with her. It's going to be great when you do. You're only going to get value when you follow her and you connect with her. So Naretha, thank you so much for being here. I really did enjoy our time together. I know it went super fast. I was looking, it's like 35, 40 minutes already. I'm like, what? And so definitely need to do this again. Once the challenge, everything, we'll come back later. And once you coach me through some of my eating habits at restaurant, well, she's gonna turn me into a real professional fast. So I don't know if you can do that because I'm a Southern boy from Kentucky, but we'll work on it. So, but thanks for being here, Naretha. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you guys got from this conversation how to step in with new confidence into new rooms, right? Maybe how to even operate in your business more professionally, right? And so, again, if you like this show and you like shows like this, go ahead, click the button below, hit the subscribe button, whether you're listening to the audio version or whether you're watching the video version, just click subscribe. We do this every single week just for you guys, just for people that want to learn how to grow their business and become better entrepreneurs in the world today. So thanks for being here, guys. God bless you. Naretha, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.